iron this. So to do this, I'm going to fold it in half. Now it's hard to do while holding a camera. But I'm going to fold it in half like this, and I'm going to iron this. I'm going to hit it with the steam a bit so that it is fully in half. Can you see that? See, there's a line there, and then we're going to fold the sides in and the side in, and we're going to iron that as well. So I'll show you just this one. So it's kind of hard because I'm only using one hand. Let's see if I can get a bit closer. I'll get my iron down here. Okay, so I will do a better job of this before I sew it together. There you go. Can you see I've done? And we're going to do the same thing to this side, okay? And then once we've done that, we're going to fold it over. See, I've got my two pieces, so I've got them folded and folded and then folded again, and that's the section we're going to sew. We're going to sew this together along this edge. See, I've got my two pieces, so I've got them folded and folded and then folded again, and that's the section we're going to sew. We're going to sew this together along this edge. So we have our piece. Now remember, we always set our needle on number 3, so it's in the middle, and you can match the needle to the little notch in that top part of the foot. And we're going to put a few pins in this just so it stays still. So we're going to put one pin here, so really close to the edge. We're going to sew this quite close to the edge. So that's where we're going to put our pins. So when you put a pin in, you're going to put in and up. One more, just 3 pins will do. Oh, that's a bent pin. And in and up. Okay, so we've got our pins. Now you take the pins out as you go. So I'm going to place this right on the edge, and I'm going to put it on, there's another little notch here on my foot. I'm going to line it up with that second notch. I'm going to put my needle in, take out that pin, so that first pin that was just holding it in place, and we're going to go right slow. I'm going to sew down there. Now keep it lined up with the edge. Keep your fingers out of the way. Remember, the machine pulls the fabric through for you. So just take that last pin out and just hold it and just let it go. Now once you get to about here, take that finger away and then grab it from the back. Now we're going to reverse. I didn't reverse at the other end, but it won't make a lot of difference because these sections are going to be inside your bag. Okay, so that is the start of our tab. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut that. Okay, so I've got my little tab here, and we're just going to cut this in half. So all we have to do is fold it like this and snip. We're going to cut that in half like that. Okay, just like that. Okay, so there's our 2 tabs. That's tab 1 and tab 2, and that's going to be sewn on the outside of our bag so that we can thread our cord through it later. Okay, I've decided I want to sew these closed, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm just going to bring our sewing machine back in view, and I'm just going to sew just really close to the edge here. I'm not going to pin it. I'm just going to place it there so that the edge of the foot, so that open window you've got here, okay, is on the very edge. It's on the very edge there. Okay. So I'm just going to, this time I'm going to reverse. Reverse. Just 2. Okay, and then going to go back. Just keep your fingers away and reverse. Okay. Lift my foot. Cut my bits off on the side here. And there we go. See, we've got the join tab, and that will be a lot easier to use later. Okay, so I've got my tabs. Now, this is also the point where if you were going to decorate your bag somehow, if you're going to put a pocket on the front, if you're going to do some applique, maybe some hand embroidery, maybe you could pick out some of the flowers or something with hand embroidery, you could do that. But this is the point where you would do that. You'd have to do that before we sew the bag together. So any decorations go on now, and you need to discuss with me or Mrs. Crook what it is you want to do. I'm not going to put anything on the outside. I'm actually going to put my decoration, I'm going to put a pocket on my inside, and so I will show you how to do that when I go there. So if I'll show you this board is in inches. Now most sewing products are in inches because they're made in America. A lot of these cutting mats are made in America and they work with the imperial system, and so this mat is in inches. So you can see every inch is 2.5 centimeters, and we need to place these tabs 5 centimeters up the side, and so that would be 2 inches. And so I'm going to place it 3, 4, that's 2 inches, and I'm just going to place it just above there. Okay, I'm going to put the pin in that so that it's got a pin cushion. I'm going to place a pin there like that, so it's nice and straight, and then I'm going to do the same to the other side. So I'm just going to use these squares, and I'm going to place my tab just here. I've also made sure that the stitching on my tab is facing the bottom of the bag, so you won't really see that when you put it together. So I'm just going to line those up, make sure I'm at the 5 centimeter mark. I'm only doing this today because my tape measure isn't here. I don't have one for some reason, so I have to find my tape measure. Okay, so I'm just going to place this pin here. So those tabs. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attach those tabs to the side of my main fabric. And that's only one piece of fabric here, okay? Just the one piece. Okay, so I've actually popped my pin sideways here like this so that it holds that whole tab in place in its 5 centimeter mark. And I'm going to sew this on at the seam allowance level, and our seam allowance on this project is going to be 1.5 centimeters, and so you're going to line up your fabric right on the edge of the first line on your strike plate, which is this piece of metal here, strike plate. We're going to start off the edge of the tab, we're going to sew, and then we're going to go backwards, 1, 2, and then keep sewing over. Now you can pull the pin out now. When it's sideways like that, you're less likely to sew it, but I like to pull it out. Come off the edge of the tab, and then I'm going to reverse a couple of times too. 1, 2. This will eventually be caught in our seam, but it's important to make sure it stays in place. So pull that out and cut, and just do that to the other side as well.